Okay, hello everybody, and thanks for joining today's webinar. Today's topic is about this build, package, and publish a business solution on SharePoint Online. And my name is Matthias Walter, and I'm responsible for the product services at skybow. Now, with me are my colleagues Addis Hugo in the background and Bart Wessels. They're here for all your questions. They, of course, try to answer them during the webinar, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar as well. So, for today's agenda, we have the following topics. First of all, I will shortly talk about ALM. What is ALM? What it is all about, and then what challenges there has been in the past, as well from my perspective when I was doing projects on SharePoint. And then we are talking about the new options which are then available through the skybow Solution Studio Online. Then before we go to the live demo, I want to use as much as possible of the time, of course, for a live demo. I have the high-level description how this share, package, and publish of a solution will look like from a theoretical perspective. Yeah, so ALM, for those who never heard about ALM, is actually the life cycle of an application itself. So it's an agile approach. So you have like you do stuff in sprints with shorter packages. You always define something, and then you work on that, and you're gonna test it, and you deploy it, and it's always a circle. That makes it very agile, and it does include as well in the whole ALM, this application lifecycle management. It's including as well project management, requirements, engineering, development, testing, and as well support. If we look at the theoretical description of ALM, but what we are focusing today, and where skybow Solution Studio Online is helping you, is the software development lifecycle. And you can see here in the picture, it's all about you plan something, you plan an application or parts of an application, and then you develop it, you test it, you deploy it, and then you maintain this functionality, and you start again. So it's the whole change management on an application. And we have definitely a cool way of how we can simplify this process, building business solutions on SharePoint. Last but not least, it's much more efficient than the old, let's say, the old waterfall approach. So where you defined everything in the beginning, and we all know that requirements are changing very fast. So we need to be very agile to make the changes during the time and implement them much quicker. So we can make a much faster delivery to the customer, and in the end, of course, we have a higher satisfaction, and that's what we all want to have, I would say. So the challenges in the past, and there are actually three topics in my point of view, is one of the most important is the whole staging. So as I said, I did a lot of projects in the past, and it was always, I developed something in development system, then I needed to do to deploy it somehow to test environments for use acceptance test, and after this, needs to be published to the production. But it was always kind of kind of hard. Different tools, and not every tool included really everything, without losing data and so on. So yeah, that was always difficult to achieve. The same was for product replication or duplication. If you want to create a product, that's what a lot of companies did, like creating a contract management or whatever, and they want to replicate them for several customers, and then of course do adjustments afterwards for each customer. That was of course possible with templates or Visual Studio solutions and so on, but it was as well not just a click next thing. So, and last but not least, templating. It's similar to that one, but if you want to create a template of something you've created, you don't want to do it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Again, you want to create a template out of it and instantiate it several times. So it's a similar point. And yeah, the one-time deployment was always more or less easy, because we can deploy new lists, the functionality, and but the problem was, what about updates? So if you want to update a solution later on, you have the solution, you deployed it 10 times, 100 times, I don't know, and you want to have an additional list or an additional functionality in every solution. Then you always need to whether script or do other workarounds, or using some different tools. But it was always a hassle. So hopefully some of you can agree with that. Yeah. So this brings me to the point what we can deliver to you, or where we can help you with our Solution Studio Online. And Solution Studio Online can cover the 4 topics of, you can build your solution based on SharePoint. We will see that's pretty fast and easy to achieve. And after building, we can make a package of such a solution. So we can have several versions of packages, and yeah, in the end, we can deploy these solutions to different environments, and it can really be on different customers, different tenants, and so on, or just in a sub-site or in another site collection. Doesn't matter. So this gives us as well the possibility for all for everyone who wants to create a solution and wants to sell this solution through an CSP, a cloud solution provider. Then this would be possible with Solution Studio, creating a template and just put it on names like Ingram, Also, and all those stores, software ones, where you can select I want to have 10 Office 365 seats, and in the end, you want to have solution 1, 2, 3 based on skybow Solution Studio, for example. So this these are the 4 options that we cover within Solution Studio. On the next slide, I want to explain this process on a theoretical level before we go into the demo. But what I just explained is pretty simple. Here, we are building on a solution, version 1.0, and we create a package, version 1.0 out of it. So afterwards, we're going to deploy or publish this solution to whether customer 1, site 1, so in one site on customer 1. Then the whole HR process starts. We're going to change something in the base solution, and and it gives me a version 1.1. We had a meeting with our customer, and there we had some new requirements. We simply implement this on the base solution and create a new package. So with only a couple of clicks, we will see that later on, we can create an additional package version, for example, version 1.1. Now we have several options. We can update an existing solution on custom 1, site 1, or we can as well take this new package and deploy it on another site on customer 1, or completely on a new customer. That's what comes next. We're gonna change again something. Our next sprint is done. We create a next solution version 2.0, and from this we create again a new package. It was a major version, and this one shows that we can as well publish this solution as well on another customer. It would be possible to update this or this side as well, but then we would have too many arrows in here. So, but these are all the possibilities: update, take a new version on the same customer or another customer. This is how it works from a theoretical perspective. Then sharing, first the whole technical background is actually done with the Microsoft PMP, patterns and practices. So all the packages are based on this Microsoft patterns. So that's the base of our package and publish mechanism for those of you who knows about PMP. So last but not least, we have as well a possibility to share a solution. So if I'm not the only one working on a solution, I want to share it with my colleagues, then this is possible on the base solution. So I can share it to 1, 2, 3 of my colleagues, and they can work as well on that solution and make additional packages and deploy them somewhere else, whatever. So that's the high level description, what we will gonna see in the live demo. So let me switch to my Solution Studio. I have my Solution Studio here. Of course, for you, in the very beginning, this is empty. I already have a couple of solutions in here. And what we're gonna do is we create a new solution, play the whole stack. So you can start from here if you have an account on the skybow Solution Studio, and there are 2 different options: start from scratch or start from a template. And in this scenario, I'm going to start from a template, because the webinar is not about how to build a solution. It's more the whole functionality afterwards for package and publish, and there we already have some stuff in there afterwards. So there are 2 templates at the moment, and at the moment it's only templates from skybow. It will be possible that you can create your own templates, so like your organizational templates, but for now it's only ours. So I select the template I want to have. I give it a name, employee management. The only thing I need to provide here is a URL, and this needs to be whether an existing site. This one is an existing site, so it's just a standard SharePoint team site I've created just before, so you don't need to wait until it's created. Come on. Now you need to wait until it's loaded, but anyway, you see standard team view team site with documents, pages, and so on. Or if I type in something that is not yet here, we can create this automatically for you. This is a pretty new functionality. We just launched it last Friday. Before, it was not possible. You always needed to create a new site manually. Now we can create the site for you. For now, we just create just a team site. So that's the template we take in the background. Let me take my existing site so you don't need to wait. What we're gonna see here is there is something, especially in this template, that needs to be trusted. If you start from scratch, that's not an option there. But in this employee management, we use some provider hosted add-ins we need to trust first. And the only thing you need to do is to press on trust this one. I will come back to this, what has been configured. Come on. Here we go. So the message is gone and we are good to go. We can define a different user for this environment if needed. Now my user has already access to it. So second step is a verify step. We can, let me kick it off. We can verify if this package can be deployed to the target site. And maybe there's something in there that is as well in the package. So it will tell me. Now you can see there is already a home ASPX. Now I would have the possibility to just delete this home ASPX or just override it because it's just a standard home ASPX. But this is what this verify step is doing. It would list all the lists and pages, as you see, that are already there and would be overwritten for the first time. Updating is not a problem. We will see that. So simply agree to the license and license agreement, and we can create the solution. Now, because this would take a couple of minutes, about 3 to 5, it depends, and I don't want you to wait. I already created or predefined, pre-deployed an employee management. So this one here, if that is finished, we will see actually the same screen as we see here. So I did nothing else than just create a solution from a template. If you create from scratch, then the left things here would be empty. So in this template, we already have a home ASPX, we have a list, we have a dossier, that's a master-slave scenario within skybow. It's employee, it's having education, certifications, children, tasks, and documents. And this is my home ASPX. So you can see it's already configured, and we can have a look at this with the play button, how it will look like on SharePoint. So this is my predefined site. Now, this would be in this scenario here. This is my solution 1, so this here. Now, I already created a package and I published this package like this. So here on the top, you see we have the build, package, and publish. So the 3 main sections. And since I already have some content, I directly created a package, version 1. And we will see how to create a package directly afterwards. I created this package already, and on the publish, I published this package already to a site with the URL site webinar employee copy. So I deployed this version 1.0 already. I did this because, like when we start from a template, it takes some minutes, so I want to save this time because we will anyway do that once again. So we have a solution, we have a package, and we published it somewhere. So that's not big magic, but now we can simply change something in this solution, creating a new package and publish it again. So that's what we're going to do. My scenario here, what I want to do is, let me show you the solution in here first. I have here initial setup action that will simply create an employee for me. So here is my employee, and just to show you how it will look like, this is our what we call dossier. It's the master and the slaves. So these are the sublists. And what I want to change, just as an example, I want to add, like we have here, number of children. I don't have children in here, but something similar I want to have for tasks. So I want to add a field where I show the open tasks. So that's pretty easy within Solution Studio. On the employee list, I'm going to things in background where we see all our columns, and I simply add a new column. So that's the dialog you probably know. It's open tasks. I create a new number field, and that's it for the moment. Now the field is here, and I'm gonna add some functionality. That's already another skybow functionality that we call aggregation, and it's on every column. We have on top, we have this value thing. Now it's already in there. So we have different functionality or calculations we can do. And what I want to have here is I want to count the number of tasks now. And I want them to be filtered because I don't want to have every task. I want to have only the open tasks. This can be done with this query editor, where you can say, okay, this task status should not be equal and completed. This would be my filter on the task list. And that's the only thing I need to put in here. The very first time you would have a link here, and that's what has been already trusted. That was this trust we already did when we created this solution from a template. But if you create your first solution, you will see a link here, reduce calculation time, and then you can trust this notification skybow.com add-in. That's why it's not visible anymore. But that's the only thing I'm going to add. And yeah, let me change. I'm a perfectionist, so let me change the title. Now, since this field has just been added in the background on the list, we want to have the field as well in the form. So I want to show it somewhere. And in this case, I'm going to add it on the tasks tab. So here, where we have all the tasks, we can add this field from insert field, and we will see this open tasks field somewhere in here, open tasks, and the field is added. I'm simply used our rich forms functionality to drag and drop the field on top of the list. That's what we're gonna save. And now, if we check that now in our base solution, so if it has been saved like this, we can press play and we can have a look how this behaves. So you see open tasks, now it's 0, it has already been calculated. If we now gonna add a task, we see open tasks 0. If we now add a task, then give it call customer, and now you see something we directly going to change afterwards. In this standard task form, we only have the connection that has been pre-filled, but I always need to fill all these fields manually, and this is the second change we're going to do directly afterwards, to let these fields, these two, be pre-filled with initial values. So that's what I am going to add my call task, customer task. It will take a couple of seconds because it's calculating the background. So for now it's still 0, but let me refresh, and after refresh you see this 1 here. So it already works. The field is calculated, and this is actually an aggregation accelerator we have in Solution Studio. Pretty cool one, can be used in several cases, like number of children. If I added a child here, we'll see that as well, that it has been, it will be calculated as well after some seconds. That's the same thing here. Yes, now we see I have 1 child. So the second change before we create a new package is we want to have this new form of the task list a little bit more with more business logic. So we can simply go back to our task list on the new form, and this is rich forms functionality. What we can do is we can select the field start date, and in here we have the possibility of initial values. So initial value, in this case, I simply take a short JavaScript function, new date, and I switch to assignment. So assignment is a one line of JavaScript code. We can test what will be the return. Yeah, it's the date of today. That's what I want to have, and this can be written into a field. Then last but not least, the assigned to, similar thing. I want to have an initial value in here, and since we have some context objects, for example the user, we can simply grab the login name of the current user, double click, and this token here, this placeholder, the skybow placeholder with the 2 double brackets, will set my name into the user picker field. So that's it. I can save it, and yeah, shortly give it a try with the play button. So if I would now add a new task, it should have the current date and me in the field. So that's a short extension I just did with skybow rich forms. So for those of you who already know our form component, pretty simple. So we did a couple of changes. I want to leave it like this. So you see the Solution Studio, the creation of the new employee management is finished. No package, no publish, so it's all empty. But I will work further on this one. This one was just to show you how to start. Now, since we are finished with these changes, we can create a new package. So we can go here and say employee management version 1.1 or 1.2.0, whatever. You can give it the version here, and add a screenshot, for example, and press finish. That's it. That's all you need to do. Now the package is being generated in the background. As well, this, like publish, will take maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Let me use this time to talk about some other stuff. Yeah, this is my predefined, my new solution. Let me go again into this site. And in the meantime, while this one is creating the package, I want to show you here the share functionality. So normally it's always one person, we call them solution creator, who's the owner of this solution. So I will see this solution in my solutions, but I want this solution to share with my colleague, that he can work on this as well. So my colleague, I have it in another browser here, is John Smith, and his solution studio would look like this. So he has some other solutions at the moment, and here on the top there are the shared solutions. So these are all the solutions that are shared with me. Now he has no solution, and I want to share the solution with him, that he can work on this solution as well. So what we're going to do is we simply open the solution, and in there is this share button here on the top. So on the share, we can share, for now we can share with an email address. So the only thing you need to make sure is that the site where this solution is running, that this user has full control on this site. Otherwise, he cannot make any changes in here. But and you can simply click here to get redirected to this site, to the owners group. So and I can see that John Smith is already, that's my colleague, I already added him to this group before. So the only thing I need to do is I can type in his email address, and you can define permissions. So on this solution, I can say, okay, you're just allowed to publish solutions somewhere, so he will not see the build menu. Or I say you are just allowed to package and build, so you cannot publish it somewhere, but you can package it. So that's what I want to do, and I simply click on share, and now John received an email in his inbox here. You can see this is how the email would look like. Hi John, good news. Matthias Walter shared the solution with you. So by clicking on accept, he gets redirected to the shared solution, and he will see that solution in here, and he can as well open up Solution Studio and work further on the solution. So that's how it will work. And now, as you can see here on the top, he just sees the build and the package. Now it looks like the package 1.1 is already finished. Let me check. Yes, it is. So he has the same, more or less the same view on the package. Here is his view. You just see package, and they see the two packages. He can delete them, he can create a new package and so on, and he can work further on the base solution. That's how sharing is working. And yeah, we are we will provide more possibilities in the future, for example, in big organizations to share a solution to not only one person, to a group, or to the whole organization. That's what will come in the future. That's why you can already see some more stuff here. I'm a beta tester, that's why I can already see them. But there will be more to define your organization with groups and so on, and then share your solution with the group. That's an outlook for the future. So since this package is finished, we can deploy this package, or like we can see now, because I already did this deployment here, it recognizes that there is a new update available. So we have a new version, and I can simply click on update, and this dialog is pretty similar to the one we already saw when you start from a template, because the mechanism in the background is actually the same, or almost the same. The main difference, of course, is here you have a package with a version, and it's all disabled, so you cannot change. But you can now take this version 1.1 and update it on this site here. So if we go to that site, that's where we published, or where I published before this webinar. This is now not having, let me show you, the Matthias Walter is not here, so let me first create it. And as well, the functionality I did on the tasks and open task stuff is not yet here, but we will have it after the update. That's the goal. So here you see task is no additional field. And if I create a new task as well, this functionality is still missing here in this deployed solution. So the only thing I need to do to get this solution here on customer X or site X as well with the same functionality is click update, and yeah, we need to trust it. I did not trust so far, so let me do that again. And as I said, it's a similar process to when you start from a template, because here as well, we need to verify if this new package can still be deployed to that site, because probably you created a list with the same name in the meantime. So we need to verify this every time, but we'll see that in a couple of seconds. So come on, it shouldn't take long. Come on. So it's really just checking the package 1.1 against the target site. Come on. That's the real demo effect. And if that is done, it's really just next and deploy. And then it takes again some minutes to deploy, because deploy to a site is the same functionality when we start from a template. Start from a template is just taking, come on, once again. Maybe it was hanging somewhere. Yeah, maybe we need to. I forgot to mention that the. Yeah, let me cancel. I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe just one try. The whole feature, the publishing feature, the package and publish feature is still in a preview phase. That means we already support a lot of things, so all the lists, the fields, the content types, and all that stuff. But if you have feedback, we of course like to get this feedback if something is not yet working. For example, we got the feedback to that it's not yet working with special metadata or term store fields, stuff like this. Please send us this feedback that for us to improve the product, to make it more stable and support even more things. Only one additional try, because we cannot go further without this verify step. Maybe I did it too many times on the same side. I don't know. It's anyway. Let's skip this for now. We can simply click next, and then it's going to be updated, and it should look the same with the open tasks and the functionality on the form, and just everything we changed as well. If you add additional columns, and everything will be updated without losing the data. So the only thing in here, if you want to package, for example, this tile nav, so that's the list I've added to have this tile navigation on the home screen. There, as you can imagine, I want to have the content of that list, this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. That's the out of the box tile nav. This 6 items I want to have published as well. So this is like content, and this can be additionally selected in things in the background, content. So there you can define if the content of that list should be packaged as well. So then it will definitely as well package and publish content. So if you have existing content in a list, or if you delete one of the items and you still have them in the package, they will be re-added. What we will never do, we will never delete something on your target site. So if you have like a document library, and the document library is not anymore in the package, we will not delete this document library. That's we just update, extend, and change forms and functionality. As well, the icon, the site logo, the out-of-the-box site icon can be packaged, and you can define the navigation. How should the navigation look like on the target site? So you can select the navigation items here, and they're going to be packaged as well as these images. So there is this images library where you can add images and take their URL to use somewhere in the solution, and they will be packaged and published as well within the solution. So last but not least, one very last point to mention here. I hope you saw some cool stuff which can help you in your application building process. Your ALM process is the licensing. Very short. You can see the license here. You don't need to license the base solution because every deployment will have its own licensing. So every deployment, if you have several of them here, will have its own license here where you can add a license to that deployment only. So you don't need to license the base solution where you're working on, for example. Only if you want to have more than one users working on this base solution. Otherwise, you don't need to have a license for that one. Yes, that's it from my side. Now let's come to the question round. We have still 15 minutes left, so good in time. Are there any questions, guys? Or did you already answer them in the background? Some of them need to be mentioned.
So yeah, we had a standard question if the slides and if the webinar recording are going to be available on demand. They are going to be. That was the first question we have until now. But of course, we are open for all the other questions because such an easy way to package and publish solutions to SharePoint wasn't since a long time there.
You're right. So no more questions? Was everything clear or totally unclear? No, I don't think so. So it was pretty a straightforward process, I would say. But of course, you can always ask questions later on. Send me or Aris or Bart an email, ask in the portal. Give us the feedback directly in Solution Studio. That's actually the best way down here. Thumb up, thumb down. If you have the thumb down, it will automatically create a screenshot that we know what you're talking about. That's always good. Yes, and of course, on the blog post, there will be a blog post about this webinar where you all get an email and the recording. You can ask questions there. So there are several ways. Otherwise, yeah, if there are no more questions, we can close down here for today and enjoy the evening, I would say.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you for a great webinar. Thank
you all for coming. Thanks to my colleagues in the background, Alice and Bart.
Now there's another question. Can you configure or use also web service calls? So if I understand the question good, we have in our action links and in the button, the links which can be attached to the button with links, you can make HTTP calls. All those calls are going to be packaged together with the solution and deploy to the target site. So basically, they are just they're going to be packaged as any other question. As I'm talking to Matthias, is just typing the same thing. So if you take an HTTP request action type, thank you, Matthias, you can put any URL. Let's say you can even take SharePoint REST APIs, REST API URLs. They are of course going to be packaged and published, and then published definitely to the target site that of your choice. I hope this answers Frank's question.
Good. Otherwise, as I said, questions are welcome later on.
Yeah.
Once again, thanks for coming, and yeah, have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.